So in a sense, we never ever truly attain anything new. An attainment of something new, in a sense, is a rediscovery. Discover, you uncover, you separate the dirt, the filth, the associations out from the truth. You cleanse, you purify. Every time you purify that awareness, every time you separate that awareness from the elements it has become associated with or attached to, or you detach the elements from that awareness purifies itself. And again, the separation thing is just semantics, because you can't separate anything, so don't worry about it like, oh, this is a separation practice, we're everything. Yes, you are, but you can't realize that from the point of view of being the body. You just can't. Or the point of view of being a person. You just can't. You got to go beyond. You got to go beyond the mind stuff. And one of the most effective, direct ways, pragmatic ways to do that is to separate yourself from everything. Don't make this into it's not a philosophy. It's not a philosophical stance to take towards life and the people that you meet and the jobs that you do and your duties and honors. It's just a practice. So it's not about thinking in terms of separation. It's about distinguishing, making distinction, clear distinction, discerning between what you are and what you're not. Oh, but aren't we everything? Yes, but if you take the route of I'm not this, and I'm not this, and I'm not this, and I'm not this, you can very quickly, arguably most directly, most fast, realize unity. So separation, separating your true self from your false self, is actually a way into unity. Because again, unity is not something that you will create. It's not an experience that you're going to one day have. It's the nature of things. It's the substratum of things, if you will. It's just the isness of things. You can't undo it. It doesn't matter what you think. You can have a million separation thoughts and feelings every single minute for the rest of your life, and it would not put a single change or dent in absolute, infinite, unified, one reality. Separating yourself is not, actually has nothing to do with not experiencing certain things. So you can have a raging emotional state. You can have a raging trigger come up and still separate yourself from that trigger without denying the trigger. So actually, by separating yourself from the trigger, you can allow the trigger to be as it is. So it's also a more holistic path in most ways, even though it sounds to the service-minded people like a practice of separation, like a philosophy of separation. It's not. Look beyond the service of separation, both in politics and in spiritual practice, and your thoughts and your emotions and your perceptions. So, where was I? Where am I? I'm in you. Anyway, when we separate ourselves, it's like we drop into a deeper space every time. So you're automatically, right now, you're assuming something is true. You're assuming yourself to be located at some level, at some state, as some form, as some level of the body, as some level of the subtle body, maybe causal body, the mind, whatever you want to call that. And so at a certain level, you are identified with a particular position or filter. If you can notice that, it's like a background assumption, like, oh, I'm right here, I'm sitting right here, and I have these things to do today. That can be in the back of your mind. That can be a subconscious feeling of identification. Take a deep breath. Notice the subtle tension that's always available to you in the background because of identification, because of associating that pure space of consciousness that cannot be described in its subtlest levels, which transcends space and time and form and objects and people, and realize that that consciousness exists almost as if on its own, free of form. Conventional reality is non-existent, but it's believed to exist. We believe typically conventional mindset is that we believe that what does not exist has existence, and therefore we've obscured the real reality, and therefore freedom. Same thing. Reality is freedom. Freedom itself is what is real. Freedom is reality. Suffering is illusion, is non-existence. So separate yourself from the beingness, which is the everythingness, and then you realize not that you're nothing, but that you're not everything. You're beyond everything. And what could be more free than that? Because then literally nothing in the entire cosmos, in no dimension, no past, previous, future lifetime, not even a god, not even death can reach you, because you are not everything. Everything is appearing. Death is appearing. Being born is appearing. The end of the universe is appearing. The dissolution of the universe is appearing. The birth of a new universe is appearing. But it's just appearing. It's like the windshield wipers when you're driving. It doesn't have to distract you. It doesn't define you. So separate even the root illusion of I am, of beingness, that subtle, subtle awareness. Separate that out from yourself, and you'll go like this. What the actual fuck is this? Especially first time. I mean, it's always amazing because it's what it is freedom. Freedom is amazing. Actual freedom is amazing. But the first few times you're gonna go like, what the fuck is that? Because you realize your absolute freedom, your total beyondness. And in that realization, you transcend both oneness and duality. Now realize all this is the direct path, it's the enlightenment path. I don't tend to speak so much anymore about the empowerment path, but I still value it at a relative level. I can still see its value, especially for the collective. I may decide to shoot a second season of the Mirror Talks podcast, where we'll probably continue to combine these topics. And I just wanted to tune in, send you some love from freedom, and remind you of your own freedom, your own ingraspability,